Alright, back for another beer review, and today I'll be reviewing yet another beer from the Dogfish Head Craft Brewery, and they're out of Milton, Delaware, and this is their Covered in Nuggs, and this is a part of their 2024 Art Series. So this is an American IPA that comes in at 6.7% alcohol by volume, 74 IBUs at the time of review. This can is just under 2 months old and also has a best by date of June of 2025. So according to Dogfish Head, we should be more than good to go. So this is not the beer I expected to be reviewing this month. I was on the prowl, so to speak, for their 75-minute IPA, which they're bringing back this year, but it's only a part of their variety pack, and they said that it was going to be available in January. I think they just released it within the past week, so here in the Buffalo, New York area, I've yet to see that variety pack. When I do, I'm going to get it. I'm going to get that 75-minute IPA because it's been like 10 years since I've had that beer. So I saw this one when I was looking for beer, and a couple people recommended this beer to me, so I'm here for it. And they have a little spiel on the back. It says, classically dank, piney, and citrusy, covered in nugs, scratches every nook and cranny of that IPA itch. Experience notes of bright citrus and heady evergreens. We brew our culinary-inspired beers using real ingredients. Every beer has a story rooted in adventurous flavors and creative brewing processes. Explore the goodness with every sip. And yeah, it's you got a nice little can art. I like it. And then that spiel on the back that that I read is also right there. So anyway, let's pour it into the hashtag proper glass. We've got the Dogfish Head glass because of course we do. This is the glass that I always feel like I'm going to crack it when I wash it. So give it a nice pour here. Always get giant heads out of this glass too, no matter how I pour it. Doesn't matter the beer style. It's always, the heads are always gigantic. And we got another like 4-finger head. Good times. But who cares, right? Who really cares? Anyway, as you can see, now with my camera being better nowadays, where the hell's the logo? You should be able to see the everything here. We'll try to show you, we'll go through the bottom here if we can. Let's see here. Yeah, you see the carbonation sprinting through there. So this has that beautiful, like just old school American IPA color. It has like this golden orange color. It's very, so the beauty about having this new camera and being able to look at the tablet off camera is that I can tell you if it looks like it does in real life, and it does. This looks exactly like it does in real life. The clarity is a little bit better in real life. Like you can see probably the shadow of my hand through, maybe not the entire thing, but it definitely looks a little bit better in person, but very slightly. But yeah, tons of carbonation, honey, like a honey orange, golden orange color, about almost 3 fingers, like 2.5 fingers of this soap sudsy looking head. And then we have it in the hashtag proper glassware, because why not? Should always have in the hashtag proper glassware. What are we doing if we don't? Anyway, let's get a nose. Whew. So just under 2 months old. Is it super fresh? It is not. They give it to June. I'm drinking this one literally in, late January. So according to them, I have about 3 months. Wait, no, let's see. February 1st beat. March, April, May, June. I have 4 months to drink this one. And let me just say, they give it 6 months, like a lot of their IPAs. This already smells like it has a little bit of age on it, but it also smells just like an old school American IPA. Like it does. It has a lot of like caramel malt, or I guess crystal malt, but it comes off as like caramel in the nose. There's definitely a big like white bread, but on top of that, it's citrus. It's orange, it's grapefruit, it's rindy, it's pithy, it's not super juicy. And on top of that, there's a pine, there's a little bit of a dank quality. A touch of like a mango or a pineapple. This smells, so when they say classic, this is a classic IPA. This is an IPA that back, say, 10 to 15 years ago, if I picked this up off the shelf, this is exactly the kind of nose that I expect. And there's nothing wrong with that because I have come to really thoroughly enjoy old school West Coast IPAs, old school American IPAs, East Coast IPAs. And I didn't appreciate these types of beers. If I was reviewing this right now, or not right now, sorry. If I was reviewing this beer back, say, in 2013 or something, I probably wouldn't really care for it based on the nose alone. I just, last 11, 12 years, come a long way. Now I'm smelling it. I do get a little bit of like an orange juice, but it's almost like the whole orange, like from the actual juice portion to the pith, to the rind, to the peel. It's like everything. It's like you just bit into an orange, peel and all. It smells really good. Like there's a little bit of like a slight black tea vibe, which usually for me is an indication of an older IPA. But again, this is just under 2 months old. Kept cold where I bought it at, or at least it seemed like it. So yeah, anyway, I'm going to get into this one. Let's get into it. Cheers. Yeah, this is nice. This reminds me of an old school American IPA. That's exactly what this is. It's so easy to drink. 6.7%, so easy to drink. Body for 6.7% press. It's higher side and medium, almost approaching low full. 6.7%. That's crazy. Has a nice viscosity, oomph to the body. The mouthfeel is old school through and through. Moderate carbonation, very crisp on the palate. Not really smooth and creamy. It just has a nice crispness to it. Definitely an old school body and mouthfeel because it's an old school beer. Taste. Forefront. Bready, white bread. 100% white bread. It has a bready kind of quality to it. A little bit of like a caramel kind of malt character. That dives underneath the palate. Omnipresent. Never steps in the way. Always with you. I can taste it at different parts of the palate, but it's not like the predominant note anywhere. But right after that, it's tons of orange and grapefruit. It's white grapefruit. It's more of a bitter and grapefruit. Same thing with the orange. And like I said, it encompasses the whole parts of both fruits. So it's sweet, yet it's bitter. It has almost a little bit of a tartness. It's everything. And then after that, I get a touch of like a mango with a little bit of pineapple. They're ripened, so a little bit of a sweetness, a little bit of juiciness. And then on the finish, like the second half of the palate or like the last third of the palate, it's resinous pine. It has a little bit of dankness, almost has like a sprucey kind of feeling to it. Finish is semi-full on dry with a moderate bitterness. This definitely has a bitterness to it. This is beautifully balanced. If anything, it's leaning to the more to the bitter side of things. Look at that fucking glass lacing. Like, you know, that's just epic glass lacing without question. That's one thing I like about this glass. I like the glass lacing. I like the look. I always like drinking out of this because I feel like the aroma and the taste and everything's really nice just how it's presented. But man, I fucking hate washing this glass. If you guys have this glass, whether it's a branded one like this Dogfish Head one or just like the plain one that's called an IPA glass, have you ever broke one? Because I've not broke. I think, did I break one? I think I might have broken one many years ago, like 10 plus years ago. But I haven't, and it's crazy because I've had this one since like the mid 2010s. I feel like I'm gonna break this one anytime I wash it, so I'm very careful with it. But anyway. Yeah, this is good. Here is a beer that, if I was drinking this one even 5 to 6 years ago, I'd probably give it like a 3.75, maybe like a low 4, like a 3.9 or something. It's way better than that. I can't stress enough, if you are a lover of old school IPAs, especially East Coast IPAs and just generic American IPAs, not really West Coast, because this doesn't have like the intense pine and like big. For West Coast IPAs, I always feel like they just kind of focus obviously on the hops. But a lot of the West Coast IPAs, old school, are very similar to a lot of the East Coast ones. You know, there's differences and whatnot, but this is just an old school IPA at 6.7%. So if you like resinous pine, a dank quality, bittering citrus fruit, a nice like bready caramel malt base, this is like you in a nutshell. And it's kind of me at this point. I'm not going to go crazy high, but I'm going to respect this beer and say that, again, if you like old school IPAs, I don't see how you wouldn't enjoy this one. So Covered in Nuggs, a part of Dogfish Head's 2024 art series. I am going to give this a low 4.25 and go 4.15. This is just really well done, a tasty damn beer, and we're going to leave it at that. So yeah, seek it out if you have not grabbed it. By the time you see this review, it's probably going to be around 2 months old, so I don't know how well this one's going to hold up. I didn't get any of that tea note in the taste. 6.7%, can't even tell like anywhere on the palate. It's just, it goes down very easily, so it's scary. It's scary drinkable. So 4.15 out of 5. Price point availability, I paid like $2.99 for that can. A little bit more pricey than I remember from Dogfish Head. I saw this at a couple different places, and they were like around $15 to $16 for a 6-pack. Not that bad, all things considered, but it's also Dogfish Head, where I'm used to getting like 60-minute, like a 6-pack of that for like, $12, $11, $12. So this is like $3, $4 more. Is it worth it? I don't know. that's in the eye of the beholder, but it's a little bit more pricey from what I've seen. Maybe it's a little bit cheaper in your area, but for me it wasn't. And then availability, it is the last art series release from 2024, so you should have seen this, towards the end of December into January. So yeah, pick it up. Again, it's probably gonna be a couple months old, but it's drinking pretty well right now. I don't know how this one was fresh, but I can't imagine it was much different. Maybe a little bit more of intensity to like the pine and like the citrus and everything. Maybe a little less with the malt character, but as a whole, it has a balance to it, but it still leans more bitter and more like, again, of that piney, dang kind of citrus feeling. So if you've had this one before, post in the comment section. I would love to hear from you. I think it's really good. And I'm looking forward to the 75-minute. I almost feel like I would love to do 75-minute and then like revisit 60 and 90 in the same review and maybe just see how like they compare. But I remember really like 75 minutes, like a combination of 60 and 90 to some degree, and then they add maple syrup. But I hope I'm able to grab that. If so, you will see the review next month. So be on the lookout for that. So again, if you've had this one before, comment section, I would love to hear from you. This is the second Shelfie beer review for the month of February 2025. And I'm loving that the Shelfie beer reviews are back because I might not pick this one up if not for them. So yeah, anyway, I'm going to shut this one down. Appreciate everybody stopping by for another beer review here on the Beer Patrol. To the next one. Cheers.